Oh, you were very trying. That took me a while.
The sign of a good writer.
Well, she's got so many pieces
Yeah,
going.
that's
She can't
it.
keep
That's
track of
what I mean.
everything.
That's a good writer.
That's like all of those novels that people write.
Oh, yeah, if you want. Skin that's pretty old, it's old as a maid. That lot lasts.
If you'd like to stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Condino?
Still got to stay this thing.
Yeah, you
What's
gotta,
that?
you
You
gotta
still have to
stay.
stay.
Yeah,
Yeah, you gotta stay.
yeah, he said I gotta stay, so I will.
Please.
Make sure I hear that. Good evening. So before you, there is a relatively small change order, a couple of items. Certainly the new railing over there at the end of that gangway serves its purpose well. Answer any comments on that? I mean, I think.
No,
Adam asked us
I've only
if,
had positive comments.
Yeah,
Yes.
we
Yes.
thought needed any changes or anything, but it seemed to
No.
work pretty well. The other part of the change order is when we had to do some emergency shifting around last fall,
Last fall, yes.
which in the end has all worked out well. I was over here, actually, we were over Saturday with the boat and the wind, and happy to report, got a nice video of that whole system. It seems to work well. It was a heck of a test for it this weekend, especially
Yeah.
Saturday. It was rolling.
Oh, yeah.
But as we had hoped and planned and designed for, it seemed to handle things well. And actually, there were a few boats out there,
Oh, yeah.
people in. So happy to report that. Here to answer any questions or anything of that nature.
And Rob had sent me a video of the storm a week ago Sunday.
Yes.
And how well it,
Yeah, shared it.
the whole docks handled that,
Yeah.
yes. I was very pleased, yes.
So, John, excuse me, you said a couple meetings ago, I thought, that we were probably going to have to take the docks, part of the docks out, the gangways and that sort of thing in the winter,
I
correct?
think we talked about the gangways.
Okay, just the gangways? And what about that new section from Kehoe? Can that stay, or?
I believe the plan right now is to have that stay.
Okay, so I don't know that we budgeted for taking them out and putting them back.
I think we carry $25,000 to $30,000 in our dock budget annually for anything that may arise. So,
Will we need a barge with a crane to do that?
I don't think so.
No, I don't
I
think
think we're just gonna need a diver just to do the inspection, investigation.
To take the gangways out?
Oh, take the gangways off, we'll have to, I don't know if we'll need a barge, actually. But we have Steve Dorr and,
Steve
or Jake Van Reen. To do the work, whether or not they need the barge, I don't know if they can reach it from, long arming it with an excavator and bringing it over and setting it on a truck, or however we decide to do it. I haven't really addressed that.
Yeah.
I think they could sit down there on the Riverwalk throughout the winter. Probably, yeah, they probably are gonna need a barge, because you got the one that goes from the dog leg out, so they'll have to have some way to reach out.
So, I guess my only concern is that I don't recall budgeting for all that activity. And so I'm wondering, because we're gonna have to do it twice, take it out, put it back in.
Right.
And so I'm kind of wondering, just at the board discussion with the mayor, that do we have a budget for this? Do we need to have some sort of?
Probably going forward in the future, but as I said, we do carry $25,000 to $30,000 in that dock budget. So that, I'm sure that should definitely cover the costs of putting the gangways in and taking them out. I mean, we've been doing it for years. We've been messing with the docks. I don't ever remember, unless the dock was completely destroyed, eating through that entire amount of money. But I will check with Amanda in the morning and get back with you to make sure. But I know we do carry an emergency fund for just that.
Okay, thanks.
had a quick question. Yeah, everyone's been, every time I walk down, there's people using the docks, which is awesome. And so was there talk, or maybe there was, and you guys decided against it, putting a ladder on the end of the dock, so if somebody falls in, it's easy to get out? On the other hand, as we all know, a ladder also will potentially encourage swimming, but I didn't know if the discussion of that had ever happened before my time. And what,
We've discussed putting a ladder, and we had a ladder at Mary Street that we were going to retrofit. We're just trying to figure out the best avenue of where to put it. We're probably going to need more. I would say we should need more than one, but it's difficult to put a ladder on the side of a,
which side to put it on?
where to put it,
Yeah.
strategically to put it, so boats, so obviously the ends are the best place, but if you fall in close to shore, do you put it in between the two docks where boats aren't apt to dock, right, you know? And that's something else, you know, we can definitely sit down and address and figure out. But we've talked about it even before the docks went in, of having some sort of way to get out if someone were to fall in down through there.
Yeah, because it's pretty close to the, it's pretty close to the water. That's all I was wondering. Yeah, that would make sense. And maybe right where the gangway, hits the dock, maybe that would be a good place, because then it's not going to, like you say, affect people
Anybody
coming
mooring up if
docking.
they do.
And that's kind of in the middle, because the gangway's rather
Right.
large. So, yeah, okay, thanks.
Any other questions? Could I have a motion for the change order?
I'll make the motion.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, John. But please stay around for the entertainment.
Yeah.
Dustin, please come up. I'd like you all to meet Dustin Shawcross, excuse me. Dustin is our new full-time police officer. He's been with us
3 weeks.
3 weeks. He's doing a wonderful job. We're very happy to have him. This means that we also have police coverage 7 days a week. And I'm very happy about that. And he's helped me with a couple of issues so far on the weekends, so it's very good to have him.
Good afternoon, guys. As the mayor said, Dustin Shawcross. Very thankful for this opportunity. It's been kind of rewarding and refreshing coming from the city where I worked in the city of Watertown for full-time for 5 years, to a village where I see I'm actually respected and things are managed very well here. So I am very thankful for that. Little background on me. I grew up in Jefferson County. I graduated from Indian River in 2009, so 15 years ago. Hard to believe. And I live relatively close in Teresa. I got a wife and 3 kids. And yeah, any questions that you guys would like to ask, feel free.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you very much. Again, very appreciative and thankful for this opportunity. I'm pretty confident, and I hope I can serve everybody in the village of Clayton very well.
Well, you have so far, so thank you very much for that. Thank you. Terry?
Good evening, everybody. You all should have a copy of the DPW activity report. As you can see, we've been rather busy. Of course, it's been a 3 weeks between the last meeting. I did want, on the agenda, I did want to bring to the attention of the board, I had 3 quotes for roof replacement. As you all know, we've had a lot of issues with leaking roofs in here and in the ladies' room and different areas. I did get 3 quotes. The lowest quote came from RSI Roofing out of Governor, New York at $113,900. That includes the barrel roof, which we'll call this main auditorium part the barrel roof, and the roof over the offices, the police, and the corridor coming in, and then also removing the marble on the facade of the building, so just above, just below the barrel roof. And reason being, after 60 years of that marble, and you probably have all witnessed it, rain and water get in behind that, and that could be a reason or some infiltration areas. And what happens is that water gets in between there, and then it freezes and it pops it. And that's why you can notice that we've had to replace some is missing on the police side, and we put plywood on there to kind of make it look somewhat, well, like or looking good. They were at 113. The highest proposal was from Northern Tier at 130, $130,500. So I guess we do have money in the budget. I spoke with, as I did send you all an email back on July 30th about the money that we do have here for the fuel tank removal. We're still, the readings that we're getting are really good on the fuel tank, so I spoke with Mike Doctor from Doctor Environmental. He said, fix your roof, you've got time. So if going down the road, maybe next year or the following year, we can get some monies, get that tank taken care of. But right now, I think, my opinion is the roof is definitely more important at this time. So I'm asking the board to agree to RSI Roofing Incorporated for $113,900 for the 3 phases that I just mentioned. And they have 25-year warranty on the roof.
Oh, great.
So.
And you've checked their references and stuff, who
Yes,
they are and all.
yep, and they all kind of work together.
Yeah.
In Northern Tier works with PTL. PTL is work, they all borrow from each other, so they all know each other. They all have a good working relationship. So, yeah, I think these guys are very reputable.
And when the employees, Toby's been doing a lot of the power washing, and he found at times that the marble was actually just coming off,
Yeah.
and because it's 60 years old, so.
What would be the replacement of the marble? Like, what would we put there instead?
They're going to put metal. It'll be metal siding. I can actually. He's got remove and dispose of the existing marble siding panels, approximately 6 foot high and 24 foot long. Each wall furnish and install new horizontal hat channel on 2-foot centers with siding colors of wall to be selected by either the board or I guess the board, depending on what color you want. We've gone to like a light. I guess you'd call it a light gray.
Yeah.
And we were thinking a dark gray trim color, like along the edges of the block wall and such. So maybe something to offset those colors, but I'm sure they will have a color plan for us, and we can select from that. They did say that they could probably get this done in the fall, this fall.
Well, that would
I
be
wasn't
nice
sure
for
about
the
the other
winter.
ones because they're
Yeah.
all so busy, but these guys said they could fit us in our schedule. I think they really wanted the job. They really want the job, and talking to them, and it's close to that, it's Governor, so they're not driving all over the place.
So, in the normal process here, do we have our engineer look at the design, like when you're changing the design, as far as aesthetics, right? Because I'm trying to visualize what you mean by the metal.
So
Or
it's,
is
and
there a mock-up or something? Or?
kind of like at the highway garage.
Okay.
If it's kind of like an insulated siding.
Okay.
It's got a nice look to it. It's going to look better than the marble, for sure.
Right.
But I can get samples for you if you all want to take a look at it, just to give you a better idea. And, once I reach out to them, if you approve that tomorrow, I'm sure we can get the ball rolling. I can give you better information because I don't really know,
Yeah.
to tell you.
Yeah, it'd just be nice to see what it looks like,
Right,
aesthetically and.
And he may have some ideas or buildings that they have done.
Right,
that he can
sample
show us.
buildings that are similar.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's all we need, something
Yeah.
simple. Okay, thank you.
And
Absolutely.
again, Toby's been in the arches.
Yeah.
He's been up there, and they're going to fill them in with cement or.
Well, yeah, he's
or
been
the-
caulking around
they've
the
been caulking and
old
they're gonna
areas. And
fill
actually,
those
with the
in.
rain that we had over the weekend, we had a very minimal leak in the ladies' room, and that seems to be the hot spot right now. So maybe once we get that all sealed up, we get the marble replaced, the roof replaced, hopefully we can stop this leaking.
Yeah, fantastic.
The building is 60 years old. It was a bomb shelter. So it'd be kind of nice to preserve it as long as we can.
Yeah.
For, step by step. And maybe in the future, we can re-side the rest of the building.
Right.
We do plan on painting the courtroom areas too, and washing that down. So I think it'll look really nice once we get it all done. Definitely bringing it up to date anyway. Get those arches painted.
Doesn't
that
look like it's
pinkish
falling
peaches.
apart.
I don't even know what color that is.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll-
Any-
I'll make that motion to,
All right.
yeah.
Do you have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you.
Okay, so, Friday afternoon, around lunchtime, I received a phone call from Ryman's.
Get out the popcorn. Here comes the
I'm
entertainment.
gonna abbreviate, because I've told this so many times over the weekend that.
Well, I
So
think
anyway,
we should
contrary to
do
what
that.
you may have heard, I got a phone call from Ryman's that there was a skunk going into the businesses, apparently sprayed a skunk, dog in freighters, and it was walking through the aisles of Ryman's department store, along with people.
Right.
So Jimmy netted it, I guess, and thought that he had killed it. So she called me, Mary called me to come down and dispose of it. And I knew we had had some issues the last couple of days, and I've heard that there's a family of them living behind the hop spot. So we had already removed one that was dead on John Street by the hop spot a couple of days before that. At that time, I was unaware that public health wanted it or was looking for it or anything. So anyway, we disposed of that as we do up on Ball Rock. So anyway, to get to the story, so once I got down there, I had a bucket with a bag in it. And there were people walking, but as I got there, the skunk was walking down the road. So apparently came back from the dead. And there was some people, videotaping, and there was a couple of little boys standing there. You can do it, mister. And of course, someone had put a box on over him so, he wouldn't spray. So I tried to strategically pick him up with the box over him and get him in the bucket and then bag him up. But I couldn't see because the box was in my way, so he missed the bucket a couple of times. So finally, he started to walk towards these people, so I conked him on the head, and he knocked him out, and and so I got him in the little boys are going, oh, they were just boys,
They
they
thought that was
really
cool.
thought that was pretty cool. I really do not like to kill animals. I'm not an animal killer by any stretch. I have a huge heart in it. But here's a skunk walking down the street
During the
in
day.
a village
Yeah.
during the day.
Right.
Something's wrong with it.
Yeah.
So I did call public health. I kept it on ice all weekend, so I babysat it all weekend in a cooler, putting ice on it. And Dan Frank from Potsdam from the DEC came and got it this morning and took it out, and he's going to let us know either negative or positive if it was rabies, distemper, or anything like that. But contrary to what rumors that I've heard, I did not cut his head off. I did not repeatedly hit him over the head. I hit him one time. In fact, he was still alive. So that's my story.
Let's get into it.
Yeah.
The life of a DPW superintendent, right?
Yeah.
Usually I let the guys do that one, but I was lucky enough to get
Yeah, you were lucky enough.
And John, I called John for assistance, but I already had him in the bucket by the time John got there, so.
Did you have a comment?
Yeah, I had a couple friends actually witness it, and it was horrible. What they witnessed seemed like a horrible event. Besides that, I understand there's still skunks over at that house. Are you going to remove that family so there's not other incidents?
It's private property. I mean, we can't move it. I can make some calls. We've reached out to them to tell them.
Yeah. They seem to think that the staff is feeding. And I had a couple of friends the night before, and the skunk was walking through the hot spot among them. And that's just a dangerous situation.
Yeah, I agree.
And so there's no legal thing that.
I mean, I really don't know if there's a legal thing. I mean, we don't make a business of going on private property to dispose of it.
Yeah.
I'm sure, I've told this Dan Frank from the DEC what is going on, that there is a family of them there.
Yeah.
But public health acted like they really didn't care because it hadn't really made contact with anyone. So
Well,
they wanted to bite someone, it seemed,
Right.
before they tested it. But this Dan Frank was good enough to come down and get it so we can at least get it tested, so we can at least get to the bottom of it. If anybody thought it was a terrible thing, I mean, I I didn't know what else to do, I mean.
Yeah, well, they witnessed Jimmy Ryman beating on it, and they just
Oh,
stuck that
okay,
with
I don't know what happened
Yeah,
to
I know.
Jimmy, that part of it,
Yeah, they witnessed, they were in the store when the skunk went.
Okay, right.
So they witnessed the whole thing and told me
Oh,
about
so
it.
the
Just-
skunk did go into the store, that's true, that really happened.
It really was in the
Oh,
store.
wow.
They were horrified.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay,
but-
yeah, I didn't know about that part of it.
Yeah, I understand that.
Okay.
yeah, 'cause-
Well, I mean, I do have some contact names and numbers, and Mary, I reached out to Mary, I don't know who the owner is.
Yeah.
But I would be more than happy to share that information to get them. She said she had somebody come and look at it, but they acted like they weren't going to do any removal. Like it wasn't that.
Hate to have something happen again, you know? that'd be-
And it's going to.
Yeah.
If there's a
I mean, one dead
And
mystery.
especially if it comes back that it's, got this temporary raise, or all of them, I'm pretty sure that all of them has.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'll do anything to get rid of them.
Yeah.
Whatever we can do, I'd be more than happy to do that, absolutely.
well, you got the DEC involved, I would think they would,
Well, I would hope so, I mean,
Yeah.
they know about it, but I did,
Right.
Jeremy Jennings did give me forward a number, and also Paul Luck, he reached out to me and gave me a phone number. So,
yeah.
I mean, I can reach out to them tomorrow and give them those numbers if that's something that they want to do and pay for.
Yeah,
I can't imagine that they want them. They're living by their dumpsters, that's what I've been told.
yeah. No, yeah, that's not, I mean, you don't, especially because skunks are nocturnal, so it was weird. that they
Yeah.
happened during-
Yeah, rarely.
You don't
They
want
were
that.
fighting, there was reports they were fighting in the backyard of Merrick Street.
Yeah,
Fighting?
Like a couple of days, fighting.
You know, when they're due for it. I think
Yeah, and they're young, they're not full, they're very, this one was young, definitely young.
yeah. Okay, thanks.
So when you put him in the cold storage, was he still breathing?
No.
He died,
Yeah,
because
he
you pumped
died.
him on the,
Yeah, we were instructed to triple bag it, put them in a cooler, and then I just iced them for the weekend.
Sure.
He took a whole ice day.
It's nice that skunks are the biggest problem we have, the towns.
You know, that's a good point, that's a good point, Mike.
Yeah.
You know, you're right. I mean, they are kind of,
Well, they put up a big stink, I understand.
They put-
Everybody,
Oh,
all
I
the
know.
businesses had to close their doors,
I know,
and I could smell it at the Antique Boat
I
Museum.
smelled it before it actually happened, I was downtown, I was like, wow, those
Yeah.
things are awful.
One way to clear downtown.
That's for sure, that's for sure.
I thought I smelled the skunk here Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, you probably did.
See, aren't you glad you stayed, John?
You probably could have lived without hearing that story, right?
Thanks.
any questions for Terry? Terry, when, I know I'm jumping the gun, when's our fall pickup? Is that usually
It's
October?
always the week of Columbus
That's
Day.
what I
I
thought.
try to do it, I try to keep them the same every
Yeah,
year.
that's what I
Mother's
thought.
Day, the week before Mother's Day, the week of Columbus Day, because those are, people usually can remember that.
That's what I
I
thought.
try to keep them all always the same. So yes, October 9th or 10th or whatever it falls this year.
Okay,
Just brush,
just, correct, yes.
No skunks.
no skunks, right.
You can triple bag them and we'll get your bag of ice.
That's right.
All righty, well, thank you very much.
Thank you, have a good night.
You too.
With that, Bart, thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Thank you, John.
See you, John.
Let's see, consent agenda? Any questions on that?
There's a spelling error in the minutes. So we can correct that. If we can amend those minutes, please. It's at the, I'll tell you what it was in a second, where we were voting, where Mike and I abstained. It said, it's ABSTAIN. Under the resolution, appointment of enforcement officer. We just change that, that'd be nice.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, anything else?
So I make a motion we approve with the amended change in the spelling.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Any questions on the capital projects? If we could have a motion to accept that.
I'll make that motion.
A second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So as I sent in my short little email last week about e-bikes and scooters, I think it might behoove us to add that to our code and to keep them off the sidewalks also. Because I believe, my thoughts are they're just going to become more and more popular.
So New York State law already says that you can ride them on any road with a miles per hour less than 30. You cannot ride them on the sidewalks, and you cannot ride them in the crosswalks. So we want to add to the New York State law? Is that
No,
what it
we
is?
don't want to add to the New York State law, but we certainly want to put it into our codes if need be, so that it can be enforced, so no one turns around and says, yeah, you don't have it.
You can enforce it under state law, right?
Yeah, I can. So the e-bikes and the electric scooters, they're kind of new technically now. They are technically considered a motor vehicle, just as bikes are in the vehicle and traffic law. However, it is kind of a gray area. I know DOT is actually working on some set in stone laws for specific to electric bikes, electric scooters, things like that. I can certainly check on that to see where they are if you'd like.
So let me also mention too that New York State also says that no golf cart can be on any public road in the state of New York. Is that correct?
That is
correct?
correct.
Okay, so
They do make some now that you can actually register through New York State, so if it's registered
if
with
they're a
license
little,
plate.
they can drive a little faster, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
they gotta have turn signals.
But a golf cart cannot be on any road in New York State, correct?
To my knowledge.
Okay, so we have a few of those in the village too that do ride on the roads.
So if I see them out, I can certainly address that.
Yeah, sometimes it's night or dusk too, it's dangerous.
Yeah,
And
especially
they
if
don't
they have
And we
lights,
know-
no lights,
Yeah.
anything like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't wanna see somebody get,
We predominantly know where they're coming from,
okay,
and we have a good idea.
sure.
A couple of weeks ago, Chief Patnaw, he's driving by my house. Well, I see a golf cart come by with two, like a 12-year-old and an 8-year-old. And I'm like, and police were right behind him, and he caught them up at the St. Mary's Church and escorted them home and told their grandfather, don't do that. And the grandfather didn't see anything wrong with it. But, so yes, we do have ones that zip out, we know that. We've got repeat offenders, but we know where they're predominantly coming from.
Yeah, I can, I'll check in with Josh and Chief and see where they kind of come from and see if we can put a splash together.
Right.
Could we, I don't know, like, could we say something in the TI Sun or whatever, just, we will be enforcing our, New York State traffic laws in regards to, golf carts and e-bikes and all of that, just, like, that
Yeah,
can
that's
just be
fine.
mentioned, right? That
Yeah.
would-
No, it's a help to have it
Yeah, because we
mentioned.
don't need to we don't need to create a new law. It's
No,
already
I'm not,
there. Yeah.
I'm not suggesting we create a
Yeah,
new
yeah.
law, but if we need to add e-bikes to our current code,
Right.
even though it's under New York State, just so we don't get pushback from people saying, well, it's not in your code and you can't do
It
this or
doesn't matter,
that,
it's
you
in New
know.
York State's
We,
state
uh,
law.
So
I understand, but you also know how the
Yeah.
public is, but
So-
we don't have to do that.
But we don't need to pay
Yeah.
a lawyer to write.
No, I
Yeah.
was not
Yeah.
going down that path
I was just
at
looking at the
all.
law bill.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I wouldn't go down that.
let me go back first.
Is it possible to register golf carts, like the way you get registrations for cars? Is it possible to register?
No, there's only certain ones that can be registered,
Yeah,
but
the
your standard golf
lights
cart.
and signal
Yeah, they're
lights
called
and all that.
Gem cars, is that the?
I'm not sure the
gems?
specific term, but yeah, they have certain equipment as you would have in a typical vehicle.
They can
Typically,
maintain
have
at least a
horns,
30-mile-an-hour
signals, lights,
speed.
brake lights, so essentially what you would have in a car.
My nephew has one.
Yeah.
So I would like to ask that if we're going to enforce it, instead of Grandpa not seeing anything wrong with it, Grandpa needs to get a ticket from our police department, and then Grandpa will understand that there's something wrong with this. In other villages and towns and some cities, they actually confiscate these things and destroy them. when they catch them on the streets, because it's become such a big problem everywhere, that four-wheelers, that we have ordinances about four-wheelers that are allowed on certain village streets, et cetera. However, there are
They
some
are?
things that are, yeah, they are,
Don't-
in our ordinance. So they are, but we, you know, if we're not going to enforce this with a, you know, some sort of fine or whatever, then it's just going to continue.
Absolutely.
Yeah, agreed. And I saw one today, just like it drove right down, you know, right down here by the park. And he was going fast. I don't know who it was. Yeah, so, yeah.
Well, I thought four-wheelers though still have to be licensed.
Well, this wasn't a four-wheeler.
Yeah, that if you can't have an unlicensed four-wheeler,
Yeah,
they have to be licensed and registered.
Yeah, they would still have to be registered.
Then they'd have to have would they have a
Yeah,
license?
so
Yes, they
ATVs
would.
have
Right,
a specific
yeah,
plate
right.
or-
Yes,
or-
they do.
Yeah, the one I saw today didn't have anything. It was just
Yeah.
some guy cruising.
So, and that's something, I've done it in the city, I've pulled over four-wheelers that are unregistered.
Yeah,
I've actually had them towed before, and
yeah.
you gotta go to the impound lot and pay to get them out.
Yeah, I think tickets, you know, first step is a ticket and,
Yep.
yeah. But if we have repeat offenders, then yeah. All right, great. Thank you.
The TI Arts Center is, today they put up their fencing,
Yep, so-
and I would suspect sometime this week they will begin their demolition. I've asked Terry to make sure that they put up the proper signage. They've been told to, I believe that they will, but I just want to make sure that that gets completed.
Now, is there
Signage.
screening that, like, will they put screening along the fence so that the, you know, so that when they're demolishing it, dust and stuff and asbestos and everything doesn't go flying all over the neighborhood? Because
I
usually,
don't think so, I didn't see anything
yeah,
like that.
usually that's a requirement
today.
in a construction.
Yeah, and maybe, that you know, again, that's their bailiwick,
Right.
so they, you
Would
know,
that
they
be a-
may have known or not, I don't know.
Would that be a code thing we should look into to see if they're, because I mean, that's a safety issue. If they're not, I mean, maybe they're planning on, I have no
I
idea.
don't know.
It just occurred to me today when I was
Yeah,
driving by
I-
to see
I
the
don't
fence, I
know.
was like,
I don't
there's
know.
no screening on the fence, I just assumed there would be. It's, I mean, I can call and ask if you
I'll find out
want. Okay.
if there's
Yeah.
gonna do. You all received my email in reference to the Lions building. So the abstract shows that it is ours. And I was in there today. Not as much things in there as there were 2 years ago, but there's still quite a bit for them to take out. We will send them a letter and tell them by October 1st, everything needs to be removed. We will allow them to keep their float in there or somewhere covered. If it's not at the Lions building, then it would be someplace. That was always a big concern, and we've said all along that we would keep the float and
Let them keep the flow.
let them keep
Yeah.
the float and keep it in a covered area.
Yeah, it's a
So
good community
so that the
service.
weather doesn't get it, but otherwise.
Yeah.
they-
What else is in there? Is there like just a lot of junk or?
A lot of
trash?
junk. You just get in touch with Terry, he'll take you
Yeah,
down to see it.
okay.
No, there's quite a bit of,
Okay.
just a lot of Christmas stuff. A lot of Christmas
Yeah.
stuff.
Did they put that around town around Christmas or?
No,
it's
we're
just-
the only ones.
Just leftover?
It's
from
just
whatever?
left over from
Yeah.
years and years and years and
Yeah.
what they've done in the past. I wasn't a resident here when they had Lions Roar and all kinds of things. But
Yeah.
anyone that wants to see the building is more than welcome to. Just call Terry.
And are they, I
They'll
mean,
let
they're,
them in.
understand, there's no issue, they're not upset or anything?
Oh, they're gonna be very upset.
Oh, they don't know yet?
No. Well, I imagine, I don't know if they know yet, but they're gonna be upset.
Okay.
But they were the ones when so you weren't here, so I apologize. So I met with them, I believe, in January, February, to discuss this, and they were a little challenging. So the comment was, we're not gonna do anything until you get an abstract.
Mhm.
And so we finally got the abstract after numerous months and a large sum of money, I would say, to prove that, yes, this is ours. And in this Same time, we've been paying the water, sewer, and the electricity for years and years and years. So now it's in writing, as you all saw, this is our building.
Yeah.
And we were willing to work with them, and Norma had spoken with them, Mayor Zimmer, and they were not willing to budge, and I spoke with them to see about flipping sides, and they were not willing until they got the abstract, so we got the abstract.
Yeah.
And again, that was pricing. The good part about having the abstract is it's all documented,
Right.
and so for the future, everyone knows.
And, yeah, and as I mentioned before, a municipality, you can't adversely take property away from a municipality.
Right,
Whether it be
right.
there, whether it be Union Street or wherever.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yes, so,
Yeah. Great.
so we'll get that taken care of.
Yeah. Nice.
Let's see, one other thing, it's not on the agenda, but the CLDC is having a, I forgot to mention, Terry's been with us 31 years, this last week. The CLDC is having what they call it a stakeholders meeting. That will be Tuesday, September 10th, and their primary focus for this meeting is going to learn about transitioning your business. So if you're thinking of selling your business, et cetera, that's what the presentation is going to be about. It's part of these, it's called CBIT, Center for Business and Transition.
Yep.
They work with ANCA.
Yep.
And that will be Tuesday, September 10th from 1 to 2:30 at the Opera House.
Yeah, they're really good.
There's the
They're great.
flyer, and we will also put this flyer on our website and on our Facebook page for people to see. When they were here, Anchor was here, they did get a few people that were interested in talking. So the interest is there for people. And we'll go from
Yeah,
there.
and CBIT's really good about the confidentiality part of it.
Yes,
too.
that's also what
You know,
they said was
right,
very,
'cause
very important
Nobody wants
for
to
people.
know.
Right, that I'm
Even
going
though
to sell
I
my,
might be
yeah, I
selling
might be
my
doing
business,
this or
right.
doing that,
Yep.
yes. I believe the ABM show, Antique Boat Show, was successful. Seemed like a busy weekend.
Seemed to be, yeah.
Yep, weather was good, so that was all good.
There's a lot going on here. Wrestling tournament,
Oh, yes, and
bass tournament.
thank you for Patrolman Shawcross for helping us through all that, because we had a few little situations, and he was right on top of it, so that was great.
Any
Yes.
skunk issues?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
You just call Terry if he's going to, yes, yes.
He's got a gun, he can settle.
Yeah,
it.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, boom, yeah.
Depending on where.
Any board reports?
I have two.
Yes.
On August 3rd, the Clayton Youth Commission organized a tree planting and a rock and plaque dedication to Dave Smith. Dave was a big part of the Clayton Youth Commission, started the soccer program and was just heavily involved in making sure kids had many opportunities to get outside. So it was really awesome of Scott Johnson and the rest of the Youth Commission to have this tree planting dedication. If you'd like to see it, the trees over by, and the rock, it's a piece of nice looking piece of sandstone. It was over by National Grid and the number 3 diamond over there. So they had a little gathering with
Oh, okay.
some fruit and some juice on
When
August 3rd,
August
Saturday
3rd.
morning.
Did they,
Heidi and two of Dave's boys attended as well, and they were really touched by all of it. So.
have you heard anything new about their building?
No, I haven't, and they've canceled meetings for the summer, so I think their
Okay.
next meeting is coming up
All right, yes.
in September. I can check on that too.
Yeah,
They're building over on.
Yes, over here
former
at the, yes, that's correct,
I'll check.
yes.
And then, I believe it was August, I think it was last Thursday, I went to the library, and there was a dedication of the children's room and the windows, and a nice little celebration.
Thank you for doing that.
So, it's difficult to go there and eat all those cookies and.
Oh, I bet it
cupcakes,
is,
so
yes, yes,
Pick the right guy.
Yeah.
great. I
Yeah.
believe also that the Balloon Festival was in fact, it was very successful. It's not even a think, it was very successful. And I wasn't able to go to the wrap-up meeting they had, but I'm sure they're going to do it again and figure out all the little clinks that they had in there. But it got a huge turnout at Coyote Moon and also up at Zenda.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go right ahead, Mike.
No, I was just going to say, our next Climate Smart meeting is Wednesday, and finally got a hold of Cornell Fire Extension. As I mentioned before, they were in transition with staff as far as when they could help us, because we want to do an initial presentation telling the village, hey, this is what we're working on, this is what we're doing. And also, they're going to get back to me now that they have a new staff member about the NYSERDA, what grants might be, municipal grants
Super.
might be available.
And is
So
that
I'll
at
keep you posted.
12:30?
Yes, 12:30.
12:30
On
This
Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Yeah.
on August 14th?
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, let me just double triple check. But I'm-
12:30.
Yep, 12:30. And then I was going to mention the skunks, but obviously the skunk thing already happened. So we're good.
Taken care of.
And I couldn't have done it as well as Terry did. Anyways.
Anything else? Any comments from the public? Three minutes?
Hello, everybody. I'm Major Stevenson. Just to perhaps help Trustee Kinney to know about the TIAC building demolition. The application pack that went into the planning board, the seeker form, which was the short form part 1, EAF form that was submitted, was 6 years out of date. It was an unenforceable form. So they have not legally informed the DEC about what they are doing. And that was approved by the planning board as part of the whole application process. I'm aware that Jonathan Taylor, when he was told there were, I think, four planning boards to get that application through. In one of the earlier planning boards, when he was told that that form was out of legal force, went to Mr. Ingerson and asked him for a legally enforceable form, and Mr. Ingerson told him to use gave him the same form again to use. So the form that is in that pack, which tells the DEC about the environmental impacts on any given project, is an unenforceable illegal form. So the DEC does not know what the demolition environmental impacts are going to be because they haven't been given the correct form.
Thank you. Anyone else? So we will have a motion to
I'll make that motion.
go into executive session.
I'll second.
You got all that, Joanne? Okay, yes.
Regarding personnel issue.
Yeah, matters leading to the
Right.
appointment,
Yeah.
complaint, promotion,
I just want
demotion,
so they-
discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person or corporation.
Yeah.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye. Any opposed?
I'll abstain because I'm going to leave.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Play well.
Split away. Say, split away.
You guys.
Just, to keep it organized, because there's a lot you guys are discussing. Yep. Keep it organized for me.
That's